Hello, my impatiens. It is Andrew the Android Koloski here. I am live and I'm ready to engage with all of you. I am live and I'm ready to talk to all of you. I hope you will come joining and will give me some company this evening. I'm not going to NAMI this evening. In fact, the last 3 days I've pretty much been solitary. And they say, whose fault is that, Andrew? And the answer is, it's your own fault, Andrew. It's your own fault. So, get out there. Get out there, do something. I guess it's not too late to go to NAMI. I could still go, but I have a real hostile, dependent relationship with my father. And if, I go with him tonight, I have a feeling it's going to turn into a fight. Not a physical fight, but a verbal fight. And somebody says, obviously you could do Uber. You could pay for an Uber ride to NAMI. I could. That's an idea. Unfortunately, the solitary fantasy land is my fault. I could go somewhere. I could do something and go somewhere and do something. Spirit asks, have I ever considered bionic limbs? What does that mean, and what does it have to do with the conversation, Spirit? He says, just asking for a friend. Taylor says, you got to get out of the house for things to happen. Well, I mean, I guess I could still leave now and go to the NAMI. I mean, I could still meet my dad at the mall. I mean, I could. It's not too late. Taylor says it's worth it. Yeah, maybe. Maybe it is too late, though. Somebody says, do I play RuneScape? Let me call my... just... Maybe next week. Maybe go next week. I know I've been in solitude for the past 3 days, but... it's bad. I got to get out. I got to socially engage with people. This is like solitary confinement, really. This is like torture. This is like fucking torture. But it's self-imposed solitary confinement. Nobody has me at gunpoint. I'm just choosing to sit in solitude. Somebody wants to know, do I go to Burger King? Not really. I don't really go to Burger King. Once in a blue moon. Somebody says, what about an anxiety med in Uber? That's a good idea. I could always go to the shopping mall and walk around too, just to get out of the house and stretch my legs. I don't know. I really need to get out. I really need to do something. Well, I got the art class tomorrow, but this weekend was basically just like solitary confinement. It was like a fucking prison, I was like imprisoned in solitude. And I realized, I reached out to friends and nobody wanted to do anything. And I have the opportunity to do something tonight. I could go to NAMI, but the problem is I don't know how to drive on the parkway and get there without, my father. And, It says GPS. Put it in a GPS and try to get there. I kind of wish, my father would practice with me, like he would hop in my car and I would drive on the parkway and he would teach me how to drive there on my own. But maybe next week I could request he does do that. So, I could get there independently of him, obviously. Unfortunately, I have anxiety about getting lost. I have anxiety about driving on the parkways. I have anxiety about driving. But don't say, oh, the reason you can't go there is because you have anxiety about driving. Obviously, I'm shrinking my world, and I just want to stay in this solitary fantasy land. But ultimately, don't make excuses because when you say, don't let the anxiety hold me back. Yeah, that's a fair point. Don't let my anxiety hold me back. I got to push through the anxiety, face the fear, and it will, I guess, disappear, or at the very least, the more you expose yourself to something, the easier it will get. Exposure therapy, right? Or maybe I'll take Xanax tonight along with my medication, and tomorrow won't be so bad. Maybe tomorrow I will have friends at the art class. So maybe I'll just medicate myself, sedate myself tonight with Xanax, and maybe tomorrow won't be so bad. So does it still make today worthwhile, even though tomorrow will be a better day? I mean, I could drive to the mall and walk around. I mean, like, it's an idea. I mean, I could try reaching out to people. There were. I mean, there's a woman who I met on FetLife who's willing to meet. But like my father said, well, what are you? I mean, you're afraid of HIV, and you got deathly afraid of HIV. Like, you shouldn't meet somebody on FetLife. So you don't coexist. You don't. I mean, there's a woman off FetLife. I mean, there's also the 50-year-old non-binary woman who you know. So he says, don't meet anybody before video chatting. I mean, I could have a telephone conversation with this woman to find if she's legit or not, but she sounds like she's very promiscuous. And, I don't know what the intention is here. I said, I'm looking for friendship and to date, but this woman, I don't know what her intention is, but it seems like there might be some sort of promiscuity, and it seems like maybe she, I don't know, might be looking to make money in some way, and that's not my interest or intention. So I'm looking for friendship and to date people and for people to interact with me. Somebody says, how did you get that vibe from her? Well, I met her on FetLife. Her profile got deleted, and I think she's local. And I mean, she's attractive, but I think she might be after money in some way, in my opinion. And then there was the dominatrix, but then the dominatrix, it was another woman I was messaging off FetLife, and she asked for money for, pizza. I'm like, all right, these people are just after money, basically. These people are just after money, not friendship and dating. And I mean, obviously, I'm after. I mean, so Mrs. FetLife doesn't seem like the place for dating. Somebody says if somebody says you got to. Rusty says if you want to be topped, you got to pay for the dom. Yeah, fair enough. I don't. I'm not. I mean, some people say even if you want a real girlfriend, somebody you meet off like Match.com, for example, you got to pay for her a cup of coffee. You got to pay for her meals, and I mean, you got to pay. You got to pay for your girlfriend, you know, and then eventually you become friends, and that's a more wholesome kind of dynamic. So I guess the key is to make money so you can pay for women, right? I mean, pay for their meals, pay for their coffee, so you can start dating. Money makes you independent. Money makes you independent, you know. You know, no, even you know, dominatrixes and what I suspect might be, you know, a prostitute. You know, even they, you know, are after. No, nobody wants to just be your friend and wants to date you and play like your adult children. People want, you know, a man. You know, nobody wants to play like you're, you know, 18 years old and getting taken care of by your parents, running around the backyard like superheroes. You know, and nobody wants to do that at 37 years old. I mean, unfortunately, that ship has sailed. I gotta make some money so I can, you know, go on Match.com and buy a membership and, you know, take a girlfriend to coffee and, you know. So he says you need to take care of yourself before you can take care of someone else. Somebody says, so what's the problem? You know what the reality is? The reality is, in a capitalistic society like the United States of America, money is important. You need money for independence. Don't be hostile dependent on your parents, you know. Instead, you know, make money so you can be independent and drive and have a life and get out of the solitary fantasy world and make your life happen. So he says, do it, make your life happen, Andrew. So I mean, I guess get a job. Getting a job is important. Making money is important. I mean, how do I date a woman without money at 37 years old? It's kind of hard, you know. He says, yes, it's really hard to date a woman when you don't have money. Nobody wants to play like an 18-year-old running around the backyard like superheroes. So he says, one day at a time. So he says, apply for a job, apply for any job. It doesn't have to be like a millionaire, billionaire job. Get a job as a barista, a stock clerk, a cashier. Don't look at these entertainers and these pop stars and these millionaires and billionaires and say, you know, I should have their job at 37. Compete with myself yesterday. If I'm better than I was yesterday, then it's good, you know? Don't say, oh, I should be like Sabrina Carpenter or Olivia Rodrigo or Lady Gaga or Taylor Swift or any of these wrestlers or Elon Musk or Donald Trump. Instead, say, you know, I should be better than I was yesterday. You know, compete with myself. You know, Taylor said most people aren't billionaires. So yeah, it's you know, walk into the supermarket, for example, look around. You see all sorts of people working, and they aren't billionaires. You know. So the median income in the United States is like $40,000, you know, a year. So that's you know you know don't compare myself to pop stars and millionaires and billionaires and say I should have their job, I should have their money. Instead, try to be better than I was, and movie stars. Instead, try to make myself better than I was yesterday. You know. Stop saying, "Oh, I shine so much brighter than Zendaya and Tom Holland, and I should have their jobs." You know, it's just compete with myself yesterday. You know, and get a job serving coffee, you know? And even if like, even if I do shine brighter than a lot of these pop stars, movie stars, and so on, you know, they're not going to just come knocking at my door saying, "We see your social media content. Let's put you in a movie." You got to take improv classes. You got to take acting classes. And frankly, time is running out for me. You know, nobody's going to say your story is awe-inspiring. Let's make the Andrew movie, and you're going to star in your own movie. This is just a pipe dream. This is just a pipe dream. You know. I'm not about to be. You know, this is a pipe dream. So you need to go and audition. You know, nobody's coming to rescue me. You know, nobody's coming to rescue me. Get off social media, socially engage with people, and make my life happen. You know, I'm not about to be like, you know, an iconic rock star and movie star. I'm not about to be like Harrison Ford in Star Wars or Kurt Cobain. Somebody says, accept defeat and failure. Somebody says, this is embarrassing. All right, I think my mother's here with dinner. All right, thank you. Okay. I'm on with the impatience, so don't say anything too crazy. Thank you. I don't want this. Thank you. All right. Not too healthy of a dinner tonight. Thank you, Ma. I got hot dogs with sauerkraut. It could always be worse. Taylor says, look at all I have, not all I don't have. I could be homeless. I could be in the hospital. Instead, I have my mother delivering hot dogs to me. Somebody says, are you going to color in your coloring book today? You have that. You have Cold Stone Creamery. I think the key in life is to be happy. And if I'm happy, and I'm not happy, so get happy. TV says, you are very well provided for a man who spends all day fighting with his parents. Night Nog says, the key to life is attacking your elderly parents and wondering why that's not making you a rock star. TV says, if I bullied my mom, which I don't think I do, but okay, she wouldn't make her food. Somebody says, Taylor says, you bully her like every day. Hi, McClares. How you doing? McClares is pretty good. Pretty good. I'm not going to be going to NAMI tonight. I'll probably go Wednesday and Friday. And I got the art class tomorrow. Well, I guess it's getting too late to go now, but the reason is because I didn't feel like sitting in my father's car. TV says, jump in your car. Well, I don't know how to get there. I have anxiety. Night Nog says, you need to be brought behind the woodshed and put out of his misery. Tend the rabbits. So Taylor says, excuses. Everyone has anxiety. Overcome your fear. Use Google Maps. I'd rather shrink my world and hide. Somebody says, you would rather be hostile dependency. You bully your old folks, but you can't drive on the parkway. Somebody says, you came out of her. TV says, Andrew, can I ask you a question? Sure, TV. What's your question? What's your question, TB? TB asks, when you had the meeting with Dr. Copland, did you object to more medication? He was keen on giving you more Abilify. I think I did. I think I objected to more medication, yeah. Somebody says, maybe if you can't drive because of your anxiety, you should get back on some anti-anxiety medication. Well, I got Xanax right here, which I take as needed. Night Nog said, you lied when you said the doctor said you're not schizo, didn't you? No, at my recent appointment, Dr. Copland said I have delusional disorder. He said people with schizophrenia tend to see things or hear things. I've been diagnosed as having schizoaffective. I've been diagnosed as having bipolar 1. So I don't fucking know what my diagnosis is, but it's bad. Regardless, I mean, delusional disorder or schizophrenia or schizoaffective or bipolar 1, whatever the delusion really is, it's bad. The diagnosis is changing. A delusional disorder is better than schizoaffective. So I guess I made progress. But, it's they're regardless of which of the 4 it is. None of them are good. And somebody says treat the symptoms and not the diagnosis. Somebody says it's not, just make progress, and it is what it is. It's just a different diagnosis. You know what I mean? Somebody says. Somebody says, I'm not a doctor, but when you're at your worst, your breakdown videos, it feels like you're talking to someone who isn't there. And Night Dog says, pretty sure Abilify is one size fits all for those kind of things. Taylor says, you're extremely under-medicated. All right. How often are you fighting with your parents? Well, every time I'm around them, it seems like we're hostily dependent, and we just fight and fight and fight and fight and fight, and we just can't get along. We just can't get a fucking along, you know. And I know part of the problem is me. I'm frustrated by my dependency on them. I'm angry. I'm dependent on them. Uh, so he says, try to be easier on your father. He's suffering cancer at an old age, and I'm still Andrew is still abusing them. So McClare says you can't keep posting rants at them and asking them to do things. Don't. Patrick says no. You are hostily dependent on them. They aren't dependent on you. Well, some say my mother is codependent with me. So there is a codependency too. But I know what you mean. I'm more dependent than um, they are taking care of me. Therapists and psychiatrists have suggested books on codependency and how to break a codependent relationship with my mother. I mean, it's just kind of a fact that we're codependent, or maybe we're trying to make progress. Somebody says, "Have I read any of the books recommended?" No, a number of books were recommended to me. Like "I Never Promised You a Rose Garden" by Joanne Greenberg, a book on codependency, and none of these books did I ever read. In fact, I don't read. So not everything. I've done a lot of things my doctors suggested, but some things I haven't done. A number of things I haven't done. So, but a number of things I have done too. So, like for example, the mega regimen of psychiatric medication. That was something I did. So he says, "Sing for us." So he says, "Dale, your stepfather will never like you. He hates you." Well, I'm going to suspend your account. I suspect you're right. I suspect my stepfather hates me. Um, you know, I suspect my stepfather hates me. So, you know, and when Patrick says he hates you so much that he makes you dinner. He doesn't really do a lot for me, but what are you gonna do? I mean, he's not my father, and I don't know. It is what it is. Try to get independent. So he says, "What do you do for him?" Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess you're right. So he says, accept defeat. Accept defeat about what? So he says, Andrew, what are you doing to get independent? You just repeat the same line, but you are doing something. Yeah. So he says, try to get independent. Yeah. Get a job. I mean, where would you guys work? Get a job at a supermarket? You know, where would you guys work? You know, Night Nog says your light burned out long ago. All right. You know, I mean, well, I mean, even if that's true, you know, like ultimately, you know, you know, like you know, I mean, like, I mean, you look at people in the supermarket. Like, not everybody has a fucking light. You know, I mean, some people are just fucking, you know, crackheads that are working the seafood department at, you know, Stop and Shop. You know, and that's fine. You know, if you know, but you know, they make a living so they can live their crackhead existence. You know. So I mean, obviously, I have the daydream I'm going to get rich and famous from this, but you know, maybe I could be like a crackhead working at a supermarket. Obviously, I'm not going to do crack. I'm going to take my medication, but maybe I could be like that. You know, somebody says the crackheads are working. Somebody says you're not better than the crackheads working at the seafood department, except you're like the crackhead working for minimum wage. No, no, it's kind of a joke. I don't think everybody working at the supermarket's a crackhead. Some people are 18-year-olds. Some people are, you know, there's a lot of people. I mean, there's people that work at the supermarket because they need a second job to support their family. So, I mean, you know, or there's some people that are handicapped that work at the supermarket. I mean, but I wouldn't say like the best and brightest are working at the supermarket, you know? Taylor says, sounds perfect for you, Andrew. Sounds perfect for you. Splurge Lord says they're smarter than you. TB asks, are you the best and brightest, Andrew? I know I'm not. Yeah, fair enough. Maybe I could meet somebody who's not the best and brightest and I could live a happy life. Ultimately, the goal in life is to be happy. The goal in life is to be happy. The goal in life is to be happy, and I'm not happy now. Maybe if I got a job at the supermarket serving seafood, maybe I'd be happy, you know? So he says, make your goal to get a job. So he says, what would make you happy? Getting independent from my parents, because right now we have hostile dependency and we always fight. And getting a romantic partner would make me happy. I think those things would make me happy, you know? Somebody says, you're not going to be happy when your mom and dad die because, you know, yeah, obviously when my mom and dad die, I'm dependent on them and I'm going to be up shit's creek without a paddle and probably going to wind up in the psychiatric hospital. I'm going to be heartbroken at the loss of a loved one, and I'm going to be overwhelmed because I don't know how to function as an independent adult. Unless I get independent and find a job, you know? And somebody says, and you'll still be single. Somebody says, your social media addiction is preventing happiness too. You're posting 16 videos a day. You know, it's making you miserable. Somebody says, you better act now. Your parents are still alive. Time is running out. Night Nog says, please keep uploading, you know, so I can get off on your suffering. You deserve the worst because of the way you treat your mom. All right, Night Nog, you know, just leave me alone. Leave me alone. I'll try to treat my mother better. Chiba Chiba, keep talking, not doing. Take action. Spirit says, Not everybody. I mean, I feel, all right. We got 15 inpatients in the house. That's a big number. Big number. I need. So it says you need meds for your delusions. You need medication for your delusions. Your basic apples and bananas. Apples and bananas. Grapes and strawberries. Grapes and strawberries. So he says, how is saving money from a low functioning job worse than what you're doing right now? You're wasting your time. Yeah, I guess I need to realize social media is my ticket to pouring my life down the drain. I mean, it's hard to accept because I've wasted a lot of time into this pipe dream. But give up the pipe dream, delete my social media, get a job in the real world, and realize I'm not going to be a movie star. I'm not going to be a millionaire or a billionaire. Just get out of my apartment, go anywhere, do anything, and make my life happen, Except I'm never going to be Taylor Swift, Lady Gaga, Zendaya, Tom Holland, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, and so on. I'm not going to be them. But maybe I could get a job at a supermarket. Maybe I could meet a romantic partner, and maybe I could be happy, Somebody says, you're not going to be Margot Robbie. You just accept you could get a stock job at the supermarket making minimum wage. You could make your disability. Maybe you could meet a disabled woman, and maybe you could be happy. Night Nog says, you're never going to be famous, Andrew. No one will ever want to you working with their company with your spicy content. Not even the supermarket. TV says, she was a disabled woman. Disabled woman. Somebody says, I'm actually rich and famous and I'm testing you. If you get better, I'll set you up with an attractive woman and a woman that's famous. I hope so. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping to date a model and be a billionaire and lie by poolside and be in Hollywood movies and, play for the remainder of my life, I feel like I've suffered so much. I feel like I deserve to play like these pop stars and movie stars, So he says, get a job first. Get a job stocking shelves or serving coffee. She was a disabled Asian woman. She was a disabled Asian woman. That's too long. Somebody says, Andrew K. Rockstar featuring Taylor Swift, The Love of a Doggy Remix Part 2. Patrick says, you've been playing like you're a child for 20 years. It's time to be a man. Stop. You give up the pipe dream and live in the real world and get a job at a psychosocial clubhouse, get a job as a peer specialist, get a job doing anything. You don't have to be these entertainers. You don't have to be these celebrities, You don't have to be fucking Taylor Swift. And it's okay, You could be like the crackhead at working seafood at the supermarket, Somebody says, and you're not a man. You're a man child. It's time to get a new coloring book and an ice cream. Somebody says, you can be a normal person working at a supermarket. Give up your delusions of grandeur, Andrew. I didn't say, that's a joke. I didn't say all low-wage workers are crackheads, Night Nog. I didn't say that. Some of them are 18-year-olds. Some of them are disabled people. Some of them are, But, like I said, well, I think there's a quote from a movie like The World Needs Ditch Diggers too. I mean, I don't think anybody's dream is to work at a supermarket. I don't think the best and brightest work at a supermarket. But, hey, The World Needs Ditch Diggers too. I think it's from the movie Caddyshack, right? I didn't say they're all disabled or young. I mean, I don't know. I guess some of the management, some of the people in the suits who made it their career, like the upper management, they make a good salary. I mean, somebody says, so he says, just apply to a job and stop talking a big game. Apply to a job. Like, this isn't my ticket to riches and fame. Like Disney isn't coming to hire me. Disney isn't going to hire me. They're not going to say, this is an awe-inspiring story. Let's make the movie about Andrew's life. And let's have Andrew star in the movie. On the contrary, I don't know what this is. It's my ticket to pouring my life down the drain. It's my ticket to madness. It's my ticket to solitude. It's my ticket to psychosis. Somebody says, Disney ain't hiring Mr. Spicy Content ever. Somebody says, Disney will never hire you. Sorry, buddy. Chiba says, that's your view on all workers, Andrew, like your mental health groups. You believe you're better and more high functioning than everyone. This is why I believe you're a narcissist too. Interestingly enough, Dr. Copland said at my recent appointment that I don't have narcissistic personality disorder. He also said I'm not a sociopath. I'm not a psychopath. He also said he doesn't even think I have schizoaffective. He thinks I have delusional disorder. So, that's what he said at the recent appointment. So he's the best and the brightest at psychopharmacology. So that's what he said. So, So he says, go get meds for your delusional disorder. And somebody says, Dr. Copland isn't the best and brightest. There are many better than him. Dr. Copland is regarded as a top doctor. I mean, even if there are people better than him, Dr. Copland is definitely a top doctor. I believe. Somebody says, Dr. Copland is highly regarded. You got that right, Andrew. Somebody says, right now, if you Google your name, there's videos of you bumbling what the N-word is. How are you expecting to get a job, Somebody says, if Dr. Copland is the best in the business, why do you never listen to him when he prescribes you medications? Somebody says, you need your medication. Somebody says, he ain't ever going to get it. I mean, I literally, I don't want to Google. I don't want to broadcast, my applying to jobs on YouTube. But if anybody wants to join the Discord and help me apply to jobs, I'll literally apply to Stop and Shop, ShopRite, Starbucks. I start applying to all the local stores, Uncle Giuseppe's, Whole Foods. I'll start applying everywhere, if anybody wants to sit with me on Discord while I do it. I'm not going to do it on YouTube though. But like this, no, I'll literally do it. I mean, I'm not going to fake that. I'll literally do it. So he says, we can't help you wipe your ass, Andrew. You have to go and apply to these jobs yourself. I mean, you could give me support while I do it, but ultimately I have to make the decision myself. And realize I'm never going to be Sabrina Carpenter. I'm never going to be Olivia Rodrigo. I'm never going to be Lady Gaga, Zendaya, Tom Holland. And just get a job working for minimum wage. At a supermarket. Get a job working for minimum wage at a supermarket. Don't say I'm too good. I'm 37 years old. I should be like these pop stars. Instead, make myself better than I was yesterday. So he says, you're not too good for anything. And they say, what you're doing is the lowest of low. You're sitting in fucking solitary Joanne Greenberg world, daydreaming you're going to be a fucking movie star. This is like the lowest of low. Anything is a step up from this. A mental health recovery group is a step up from this. A minimum wage part-time job is a step up from this. This is like fucking psychosis land, This is solitary psychosis land. Somebody says you'll get fired in a day. I mean, that's a fair point. I'll probably think I'm too good for the job. I'll probably hate serving seafood, and I'll walk out and I'll post on social media. I'm too good to serve seafood. I don't think I think that's a fair point. Taylor says you need medication to hold a job. So, Patrick says, you pissed me off enough for me to break the I'm not participating in your facade rule because you disrespected Poppy today. Night Nog says, you doodle in a coloring book and you think you're Picasso. Somebody says, Erie says, he's been like this since high school. He'll never change. TV says, I'm concerned with fight. I didn't really fight with Poppy. I just said I can't deal with going to NAMI today. In fact, I didn't actually fight with him. I just told him I didn't want to go in his car today. We didn't actually fight. I told him I didn't want to fight. I'm not bullying. So he says, it's hard, Patrick, really hard. My father thinks I hate him. So he says, you wouldn't have to drive in his car if you could drive yourself. So he says, leave your mother, father, and stepfather alone. I mean, I'm going to ban Night Nog. Somebody says, try the 15 milligrams of Abilify, too. Erie says, that's all Andrew's legacy will ever be, bullying a cancer patient. There's a stop bullying your parents, phone Poppy and take the 15 milligrams. All right, guys. I think I'm going to get going. Erie says, I don't think he was even bullied in high school based on how he acts now. He was probably the aggressor. That's not true, Erie, but believe what you want to. I was very passive in high school. I was very timid. I was very self-conscious. But believe what you want to. I was severely bullied by the other children, daily. It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't fucking matter anymore. Just make my life happen. Don't focus on the past. Focus on the present, and just make my life happen. Chiba says. Somebody says, add Chiba to the Discord. All right, I'll add you in a moment, Chiba. I'll add you in a moment to the Discord. He says, free Chiba. Free Chiba. Realistically, I was severely and persistently bullied in high school. They would get physical with me. They would. It just. I mean, whatever. Night Nog. I was severely and persistently bullied, and you're getting blocked. It's corroborated by the best in the business at psychiatry. Um, and it is what it is. It led to me getting anxious, agoraphobic, fearing the world, traumatizing me, and it is what it is. But somebody says whatever the bullies did in the past doesn't. I mean, you hold the key to your better future, and the key is more medication. It really doesn't matter. I mean, realistically, there's going to be no court case where I call the bullies into the room and say, look at what you did to me, look at how you ruined my life. Realistically, I have to come back with determination and make my life happen. So he says, sadly not. A lot of people get bullied. So he says, take the Lamictal tonight and make your life happen. Somebody says, until you medicate yourself, we'll be having the same conversation over and over and over again. Somebody says, McClare says, once again, I'm not a doctor, but there's a strong case that you're on the spectrum somewhere. I think obviously that there is some people think, maybe I have, slightly on the spectrum, but I'm not diagnosed as such. Somebody says, trauma might have made your condition worse, but they think I was born this way. All right, fair enough. I mean, it's the nature nurture debate. Was it bullying that brought out my delusional disorder and severe mental health challenges, or was I born this way? I mean, it's up for debate, right? Somebody said, Erie says he has an intellectual disability, not autism. Well, I'm not, just whatever. So he says, get a job, any job. Somebody said, no one said that. Okay, fair enough. Taylor says, you need to be on a mega regimen of psychiatric medications. Erie says, Andrew won't get a job. You could slap him with a bucket of change and he still couldn't make a dime. Somebody says, as long as he believes the delusions that his parents are nefarious, he will be unable to treat them more nicely. Okay, I'll try to fight off the delusions and be more loving towards my parents and try to appreciate them more. Maybe I definitely should have gone to NAMI this evening, but it was a bad decision. But just Somebody says you need medication. Medication fights the delusion. There definitely is sexual dysfunction to the psychiatric medications. I mean, that goes without saying. I mean, somebody says Andrew doesn't want to go on the psychiatric medications due to the adverse side effects, but definitely the medications cause sexual dysfunction. That's for sure. Taylor says, "Who cares? You're not even having sex." In fact, you know. Somebody says, "Prove me wrong. Take a Lamictal straight for a month and see how much better your life improves." People say it's as simple as taking medication and your life is going to improve. So he says, "Listen to Patrick. Patrick has good intentions." McClare says, "Sexual dysfunction is the least of your worries." And somebody says, "It's that simple. You need medication, Andrew." The simple truth is, you need medication. Somebody says, "Weighing sexual dysfunction as more important as being able to discern reality shows why you ought to have an IQ test. You know, you could probably get more money in disability." Erie says, "Andrew will be on a mega regimen when he goes to the state-run nursing home." Taylor says, "Andrew will never get better without medication." People says they're done trying to be nice to me. It's time that they, give me tough love and stop protesting. People tell you the truth every day. They tell me the truth. I don't listen. All right. So he says, "Once my parents are dead, I'm going to be up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. I'm probably going to be forced to take medication by the state. I'm going to be in an assisted living group home or in a psychiatric hospital or homeless or someplace very bad." So that's the reality. Somebody says, "Give up the internet fantasy land, give up the troll garden, give up the rose garden, like Joanne Greenberg. Live in the real world. Get a job, and not a glamorous Hollywood job. Get a job making fucking minimum wage, serving coffee, and be happy." Somebody says he's... All right, guys, I think I'm going to get going here. I appreciate you guys watching. Troll Slayer, it may sound mean, Andrew, but everyone just wants the best for you. You need medication. Take your fucking medication. It's going to get better. And somebody says, "Leave your old folks alone. Leave your parents alone." Somebody says, "Shout out to the Disney Corporation and take your fucking medication, Andrew. Take your medication." All right, guys. Peace out, my amigos and amigas. Troll Slayer says, "I am emotionally invested in your future and would like to see you get better. Hopefully I can make a full recovery from this mental illness, and hopefully I can live a productive life. Hopefully I could get independent, meet a girlfriend, and be happy. Realize I'm not going to be a superstar, but maybe I can live a happy, productive life." All right, peace out, my amigos and amigas. And who needs to be a fucking superstar? Maybe if I find love and happiness, why do I need to be in front of the camera? You don't need to be so toggle that switch to off. Realize an ordinary job is fine, and it's going to be okay. Give up the delusions of grandeur. Peace out, guys.